Remember, poise over 40 minutes. Long game. One of the toughest atmospheres we'll play in tonight. I can't wait for us to get in this. We're ready.
Down low to Zach August. Finke on him. Now it comes back to Jackson Long. Three. Got it! On over now to Colson of Astoria, who slices down the lane. Throws it up and in with the left hand. A great drive by Astoria. Jackson left side of the lane. In the corner of Astoria for three. Got it!
Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Man, what a great step for this group.
To Jackson, alley-oop for Zach, and we've got a Zach attack alert!
Hello, Irish fans, and welcome to the 16th season of Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey, the coach of the defending ACC champions. 16 seasons, Coach.
Can't believe it, Jack. Thrilled to be back. And let me start by saying congratulations to you on that Emmy. It's an honor to be working with you again.
Well, this show is certainly a big part of it, so thank you for all you did to help me achieve that honor. And at the beginning of our show, we saw you in the locker room in Champaign after that win over Illinois. That was a huge win for your team. Big
Step for this team, Jack. You know, we're trying to find ourselves and develop an identity. We had some disappointment in Orlando, but to get a road win in that atmosphere, a night of growth for this group.
A lot of highlights in that game for the Irish. We'll talk about them right after this timeout.
Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners Sprint, Coke Zero, Under Armour, and Gatorade. Inside Notre Dame Basketball is also sponsored by Delta Airlines, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics, Bank of America, Canon, Xfinity, Meijer, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, SiriusXM Satellite Radio, and UPS.
You'd had some ups, you'd had some downs going into Illinois, and you really couldn't tell the team this, but that was a critically important game for your team to get. Big night at Illinois. They dedicated the court in Lou Henson's honor. They rededicated their new building. It was as loud as any crowd you've played in front of in recent years, other than maybe Cameron, but your team was able to step up and get off to a pretty good start.
We did get off to a good start, Jack, and we needed it. We needed to bounce back, and how are you going to bounce back through a season after a loss is very much a key. We did get out of the gate early. That helped us. That gave us some confidence. Then they really got going offensively. They shot the heck out of the ball. The thing that was disappointing at halftime is, you know, they were shooting 50% from the floor against us, and I didn't think we were in a great offensive rhythm, but that certainly changed in the second half.
And they were feeding off that crowd. They led by 8 at halftime. They went up by 10 early in the second half. The crowd's going nuts, but then your team responded. And one of the guys that helped you was Steve Astoria, who's been getting better and better. He had a career high 21 points for you.
I thought for Steve in this early stages of the season, he's developing into more of a scoring, driving threat for us. He must be a little more selfish about his stuff, and I thought it really came into fruition in Champaign, Illinois. There's no question he was aggressive. I thought then Demetrius Jackson, his second half, Jack, was fabulous. First half, a little nervous. Of course, they recruited him really hard, maybe a little distracted. Second half, he put the dagger in him and loved to see how he played on the road. I loved how my two guards played down the stretch. I think I have two of the best guards in the country, and they played like it on the road the other night.
In Astoria and Jackson, of course. Jackson scoring 17 of his 21 in the second half. Now, you told him before the season, this is your team. You can say that. He can say, yes, coach, but there's a difference between agreeing with it and doing it. And I really thought this was the first game where he needed to completely take over against a quality opponent, and he did in the second half.
Agree with you completely, and I'll go back to halftime. This is where he's made great growth. He didn't have a good half individually, but he was leading in the locker room and talking guys up. See, that's a sign of maturity. He wasn't dwelling on, I turned it over, I missed shots, and I thought it set him up to finish the game for us. He is a big-time finisher, defending, rebounding, but making big shots and then making big passes, talking in our huddles. just a great night of growth for our team, but certainly for our captain and our quarterback, Demetrius Jackson.
You win at 84-79, but you were up by 14 with 32 seconds left, and you gave up some easy baskets. Are the new rules that don't allow you to impede the progress of offensive players, did that enter into that? You didn't want to stop the clock?
You know, it is a little tricky. We played zone and we stayed in the zone the whole second half. But when they're driving at your throat and trying to draw a foul, because the fouls are easily given this year with the new rule, you're backing up, so you end up giving some layups. So I think I still have to rethink, how do we defend at the end, because you don't want that clock stopped.
Well, the Irish have now played 7 games. We're going to go back to the beginning of the season in our next segment and show you the first 3 games played right here in Purcell Pavilion. Well, Coach, as we look right over here, there's that ACC banner this team worked so hard for, the first full conference championship for this school, and you raised it before the St. Francis game.
Special night, and it was great to share it with our fans, Jack, to put that thing up. What a great memory. Every time I walk through the gym, I glance up at it. But certainly a way of celebrating a great season, but also kind of ending it and moving forward with this particular group.
And Demetrius certainly showed he was ready to have this be his team. What a great game. Career high 27 points.
27 points. I thought Demetrius Jackson set the tone for us, shot the ball well, gave us energy, defended. He couldn't wait for his debut as the captain and the point guard here.
Zach August, you challenged him to lead this team in the nation in rebounding, and he came through with a double-double, 15 points and 14 rebounds.
He did. You know, and one of the challenges with Zach, Jack, has been, hey, be a double-double guy. And I was so pleased that Demetrius and Zach, who, you know, arguably are 2 key guys, set a tone for us in our first night with our uniforms on. Zach kept it simple. He rebounded. He ran the floor.
Milwaukee, your first test of the season against a really good team, and you answered that bell. It was tough early, but you had a 16-2 run at the end of the first half to take control.
They had big guys that shot it. They spread us out. We chased them off the arc the whole night. They still made double-digit threes against us, but I thought we ended the half defending really well to get up 20 early in the second half and then hold them off.
Another guy that you wanted to get into a rhythm again this year was VJ Beacham, and he has. And this was a game where he really stepped up, 19 points, including 4 threes.
That was a big night for him, Jack, because we want him confident. He didn't have the best of marches that we all would have liked to see, and he accepts responsibility for that. But all summer, getting him confident preseason, for him to explode like that early in the season, I think helped him feel good about being a starter.
So after that 8-point win, you move on to UMass Lowell. You hadn't been getting off to good starts early. You did in this game with a 10-2 run.
Well, there's nothing like getting out of the gate early in a game and to start a second half. It's things we work on in practice. We do game situations to simulate that. But we did it. We did it with our defense, and our 2 big guys were pretty darn good.
They combined for 30 points and 19 rebounds. Of course, we're talking about August and Colson.
There's no question with Bonzi and Zach, when they're banging the backboard, running hard, defending in the post, rotating over and helping their teammate, that makes us a better team.
After the first 3 games, the Irish are 3-0, heading down to the AdvoCare tournament in Orlando. We'll take you to Florida right after this. You knew when you saw the matchups for the AdvoCare tournament that Monmouth was going to be a heck of a challenge, and they were.
They win at UCLA. They're just really good, and they're hard to guard. And we played and we battled. We couldn't really defend well enough to finish the game and end it. And we hurt ourselves from the free throw line, or we escaped that one. But you got to give Monmouth credit. Monmouth wins at UCLA, and then UCLA turns around and beats the #1 team in the country the other night. So it just tells you how crazy college basketball is.
Their little guard, Justin Robinson, ended up being the tournament MVP, and he made a great drive late to end it, and you really couldn't get a good shot.
We really couldn't, and we put him on the foul line a bunch. But we couldn't get a key stop at key times to really deserve the win. And then to win a close game, you've got to make free throws to win a close game. All our success here has been in close games, making free throws at the end. We couldn't do it that night.
Your next game was against Iowa, a team that's picked to make the NCAA tournament. You bounced back in great fashion.
So proud of how we bounced back. That was major disappointment on Thanksgiving night, but within 24 hours, I thought mentally and physically, our leadership got together. We talked about what we needed to do better, and we bounced back and got a good win against the Big Ten team, and a lot lot of different guys contributed.
Two guys in particular, VJ Beecham, team high 16 points, 4 threes, and Matt Ryan played the game of his young career.
There's no question for VJ's trending up and getting confident. Big shots for us. Matt Ryan off the bench gave us great stuff, and we just got to keep nurturing him and getting him confident as well.
And Sunday you take on an Alabama team. You had a lot of confidence, but so did Alabama.
You know, you want to get out of Disney 2-1, and you're sitting there 1-1 on Saturday, the off day. I thought our start hurt us. We got down, we were digging out of a hole the whole night. Having said that, we get up in the second half, but we could never put together successive defensive stops. We had no kills. A kill is 3 stops. 0 kills. The foul line hurt us again, and that's going to cost you.
Folks, as you may know, Coach and I collaborate on this show, on his radio show, but this summer we went national, and we'll show you that when we come back. You're really good on TV, and you often joke to me, well, you're going to go to ESPN, and I always said, well, you better take me with you. Well, you did this summer.
We are a package deal whenever we go, but that was a thrill, and it was great working with you. Thanks for holding my hand through it a little bit. But to do a game with my former guys, one of the special moments, since I've been here at Notre Dame.
It was the basketball tournament, the Notre Dame alumni starting the defense of their title, winning the tournament the year before, but it was more than that. It was also a reunion for Coach and some of his former players.
One of my former guys needs something. I am never too busy, in season, out of season. That's one of the things I just feel that's a duty, and so I've talked to guys about jobs, kids, marriages, money, all of the family, dads, all of the above, and it's very important to me to be available to them and be there for them, and I think that's kind of a lifelong teacher for them if they need you. We've taken over Chicago with Notre Dame basketball, and I love it. And here our alumni team's going to play tonight, and I'm going to do the game on ESPNU. It's such a great reunion, It's one of the reasons I love coaching at Notre Dame, the kind of guys that I get. We'll get one with ZA. Now, this is a pretty good picture here, baby.
Well, he's done so much for me in the past, and I'm always happy to help out, especially for Coach. I'll do anything for him.
They're all graduates. Some are married and have kids, and they're in different walks of life, and that's what it's all about.
The basketball tournament. It's the Midwest Dream Squad taking on last year's champion, the Notre Dame Fighting Alumni. Right now we have Ben Hansbrough mic'd up.
I'm really looking forward to it, especially the opportunity to play with the Notre Dame Brotherhood. Coach Brey is the father of it all, so it's going to be a lot of exciting fun going on tonight.
Hey Ben, Coach Brey, one thing I want you to make sure is please stay off the officials. I don't want you fouling out like you did at UConn that year at the end.
No problem.
You good? Yeah. All right. It's really an honor to me to see these guys and the young men that they've become. It's that low post touch jack, it flattens the defense, and Ty Nash kicks it out. They did a lot of that together through their Notre Dame career.
At halftime, the defending basketball tournament champion ND alumni lead the Midwest Dream Team 39-35.
I'm honored to be with this guy. Jaron Grant, New York Knick, first-team All-American, guy that made me look like I could coach a little bit. Well, we're so proud of you here at Notre Dame. You're such a Notre Dame man, such a winner. Any advice you'd give the alumni team?
No, those are all the guys that really gave me all the advice. Grew up playing against, those guys, Ben, Abro, playing with Eric. So, those are the guys that helped me get to where I am.
Let's get up here and root these guys on in the second half.
Everybody in the building on their feet. 5.4 seconds as Hansbrough gets it. Great pass inside. Atkins plays it over. And Notre Dame lives to play again. They win it at the buzzer.
I need my blood pressure medicine, Jack. You guys have won a lot of games together, and you believe you should win, and it was really on display. I could watch that forever. Our guys celebrate. I got chills. Really proud. I wish I could stay for it tomorrow night, but I'm going to head to Vegas because I need to recruit some more guys like that.
Watching that again, you said you had to go to Vegas to get some more of these players. There's an AAU tournament in Vegas. Boy, you've had some great players.
Jack, I have been so blessed here at Notre Dame. The young men, the great players I've had, but the people that they are. And this tournament has become a reunion. I take them out to dinner the night before. The stories around the table are great. We have guys that are now married and have children, that are playing, that are successful in business. They are great Notre Dame men, great ambassadors for our program.
It's time now for one of our most popular features. The Fast Break returns in the run, the first Fast Break of the season. A sophomore who's really helped this team so far, Matt Farrell. Favorite all-time movie?
Goodfellas.
Favorite musical group or artist?
Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
Who is your role model?
My brother.
One thing the public would be surprised to learn about you.
I love going to Broadway.
What did you do on your first date?
Went to the movies.
Favorite NBA player?
Was Steve Nash.
Which is better, knocking down a long three, grabbing a big rebound, or blocking a key shot?
Blocking a key shot.
City or place in the world you would like to visit?
Las Vegas.
One thing you always hear from Coach Brey in practice?
Be more aggressive.
Best nickname on the team and who has it?
Ooh, Big Baby. Bonzi.
Best defender on the team?
Steve.
Best leaper on the team?
Torres.
Best dunker on the team?
Rex.
Worst dunker on the team?
Steve.
Best dresser on the team?
Zach.
Worst dresser on the team?
Steve.
Freestyle swimming race, one lap. Who wins, you or Coach Brey?
Coach Brey. A horrible swimmer.
That's amazing because Matt Farrell has grown up at Point Pleasant Beach, but I tell you, that's a good thing because he must be in the gym working on his game a lot. He's doing a great job for us.
No question about that. Glad he's on here. He got a little frustrated last year. Glad he stuck it out.
Yeah, he's going to be a key guy for us. Huge on the road in Champaign, Illinois. Love what he's bringing to our team.
This week's TireRack.com Ask Coach Brey question is coming up next. All right, it's time now for this week's Ask Coach Brey question presented by the experts at TireRack.com. This week's question comes from Jim Koppler of New Albany, Indiana. Jim asked, Coach, do you plan on keeping a 7-man rotation this season, or do you see other players moving into the mix?
No, I think you always have an open mind to have more guys into the mix. Right now we're kind of 8 with Torres as our big guy coming off the bench. And I think what you're trying to gauge is how many minutes can Bonzi and BJ play? We know Zach, Steve, and Demetrius have been able to play longer minutes. I don't know if those other 2 guys are yet, but I love what Matt Farrell, Matt Ryan, and Austin Torres right now do off the bench. But you know what? A year ago, Bonzi Colson wasn't in the mix, and then all of a sudden he was. So there's still a lot of things to be answered.
Just one game on tap this week, Stony Brook, and I know you're happy about that after a bunch of games the last couple of weeks.
Well, we needed to come back from Champaign and rest. And then on this weekend, we're getting into training camp. It's mini camp weekend where we can really get some reps, work on some things, because we have a great challenge Tuesday night against a very good Stony Brook team.
Coach, thank you as always for all your great efforts. That'll do it for this week's show, folks. All the highlights of the Stony Brook game and some really cool features coming up on next week's show. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and go Irish.
Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners Sprint, Coke Zero, Under Armour, and Gatorade. Inside Notre Dame Basketball is also sponsored by Delta Airlines, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics, Bank of America, Canon, Xfinity, Meyer, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, SiriusXM Satellite Radio, and UPS.